Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And yes, I have the lighting and I have the fan. How are you? Right now the time is approximately 11:16 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Friday, October 2nd, 2020. Tonight the moon is waning in Aries. Tomorrow morning the moon will be waning in Taurus. As most of you know, October 2020 has two full moons. The first one was yesterday, Thursday, October 1st, which was a full moon in Aries. And on Saturday, October 31st, which is commonly known as Halloween, but to my fellow witches, pagans, and magical practitioners is called Samhain, is the date of the blue moon, or the full moon in Taurus. Very excited. The last time we had a blue moon, the last time we had a full moon on Samhain, on October 31st, was in 2001. I almost never do anything major for myself magically on Samhain, but this year that's going to change. I'm going to do something really spectacular for myself, at least. I prefer solitary practice. I've enjoyed group practice. I've benefited from group practice, but if I had to choose for the rest of my life being a solitary practitioner or a group practitioner, solitary wins hands down. Mind you, I've been a part of some amazing groups, and I'm still a part of some amazing groups, but solitary wins. Anyway, so this is my next video in one of my new favorite ongoing series of videos. I call them More Than a Walkthrough, where I basically devote an entire video to one card from a particular deck. Right now I am doing two More Than a Walkthrough videos. One is with the Pride Tarot, a collaborative deck published by US Game Systems, and the other one, which will be featured in this video, is the Mystic Male Tarot created by John C. Jennison Jr., published by Astonishing Queer Tales. Both of these tarot decks are part of the LGBTQIA+ community. Both represent the LGBTQIA+ community. The Mystic Male Tarot is strictly or predominantly male in design and imagery and energy. And what I'm going to do is show all of you the cover of the box, and I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the front of the box. And then when he gives me the go-ahead, I'm going to have him do a close-up of the back of the box. And you can see the Astonishing Queer Tales logo at the bottom of the box, that big red dot. Okay, so, and then I'm going to show you which card we're going to be focusing on in this video. It is the Emperor card. So I'm going to have him first do a close-up of the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous back of the card design. Most of you know that since I began leading a monthly goddess circle, the moon has become so much more prominent in my life and in my world, as have lunar colors, which is what I'm wearing right now. But yeah, so let me show you the front of the card. The Emperor is so sexy. He's like, I got it. I got you, baby. No surprise, the Emperor card is astrologically aligned with the sun sign Aries, sign of the ram. Anyway, so I'm going to read to you what Mr. Jennison Jr. wrote about the Emperor card. And just a quick FYI, in this tarot deck, what Mr. Jennison Jr. describes as upright, he doesn't use the term upright, he doesn't use the term reversed. However, when the card is reversed, he refers to it as expressing its shadow side. I love that interpretation, by the way. I love that perspective, by the way. So, Trump 4, the Emperor, Aries. And of course, we are in an Emperor year because we are in the calendar year of 2020. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 equals 4, as in Roman numeral 4. Okay, so, the Emperor is in charge and rules with a steady hand. He creates structure and authority wherever he goes. The shadow side is a control freak who seeks dominance over those around him. His lack of inflexibility makes him hard to compromise with. Now, I want to tell you something, and I actually did not remember this until late last year. So, recently, especially on Twitter, I have raved about my personal psychic advisor, Roger Pratt. He is tarot seer on Twitter, and if I remember correctly, because I haven't used Facebook in more than 4 years, or almost 4 years at this point, but if I remember correctly, his username on Facebook is Roger Pratt Tarot Seer. But I distinctly remember he used to have this phenomenal website, and what I loved about the website was that every day there was a tarot card. Every day there was a color. Every day there was an essence, like an essential oil or an herbal aroma or what have you. Every day there was a color. Every day there was a deity. Every day there was a holy day, and I loved that that thing. It was like a mini almanac of like the day's energies, and I loved it. And I remembered in one day the card for the day was the Emperor, and what he had written about the Emperor card is that one of its traditional meanings is politics and governmental authorities and governmental issues and politics in government. And and then when I was divinely guided to do a reading for 2020, which I almost never do those things, and you can find the video, but it's I can link it in the description box if necessary. But one of the things that I remembered was that I thought it was so interesting that here we were in an Emperor year, and one of the traditional meanings of the Emperor card is politics, governmental issues, and and of course in the United States every leap year is a presidential election year. So here we were in an Emperor year when we were talking about somebody, or rather talking about a situation where we were going to have a presidential election, and I found it fascinating because the other thing about the Emperor card in a more traditional tarot deck is that the Emperor thinks he has everything, but he really doesn't have much. Because if you look at the Empress card, the Empress has all of these succulent fruits and nourishing vegetables at her feet. She has this beautiful, massively comfortable throne. She has this beautiful gown. She has this golden crown studded with 12 stars. She has this glorious scepter capped with the sun, and the river at the bottom of the waterfall is flowing to her. Whereas the Emperor thinks he's the big cheese because he's got everything, but he got nothing. So with this Emperor, this Emperor for me is very self-aware. He knows what he has, he knows what he doesn't have, he knows what his strengths are, he knows what his weaknesses are. And I really love this about this Emperor. And I also love the variation of the Ankh at the top of the scepter, which looks like an axe. It could be a trumpet, but it could also be an axe. So it's like, I know how to cut things out that no longer serve our needs. It's a really beautiful Emperor card, I must say. Well, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube land, it is my intention to keep these videos as short and as sweet as possible. I want to thank you all for honoring who I am and what I do. I want to thank all of you in advance for all the likes, for all the shares, for all the comments, for all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And of course, do let me know if you have the Mystic Male Tarot, if you are waiting to receive the Mystic Male Tarot, and absolutely let me know if you have given readings with the Mystic Male Tarot. As some of you know, I'm not ready to give readings with the Mystic Male Tarot just yet. I am waiting until I conclude this More Than a Walkthrough series, and then I will be happy to offer readings using the Mystic Male Tarot. And of course, thank you in advance to all of you who have already availed yourselves of my psychic services in 2020, the year of a solid, balanced foundation. And please keep in mind that from September through to the following February is the most abundantly full time period for my professional psychic practice. So if you are going to schedule your sessions with me, I cannot over-recommend you do that as soon as possible. In fact, I would even recommend you book your reading now. Book your session now. Book your appointment now with yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting a Fan. I wish all of you a beautiful night, a nourishing weekend, and stay tuned for the next video.